Okay, it's the last weekend in March, and we're gonna look at the orchard. It's been this is the springtime, obviously, and things change so rapidly. I forgot how quickly that happened. So last week, the pear trees were just in a state of this right here, where the buds pop out and open up. Now there's leaves opening up, and you can see some here where you're starting to see the petals. They're starting to open, and there's some flowers that are open. So we've got all the different stages there, from some that are closed but still just the bud separation, and then the buds start to unfurl to open, and it's pretty amazing to see how things change so quickly. And this obviously is after I pruned everything. It looks a lot different last week, but I did that last week after I did the initial stuff. So anyway, now I don't have as much pear tree going into the fence, so hopefully that'll make it a lot easier to manage. And with the cherry tree, I didn't do a whole lot to it last week. Took out a big portion, the big part that was sticking up there, because it was really too high to work with. But the tree, as you can see with the white, basically it started to blossom. They started to open. It's again pretty cool. Last week, pretty much everything wasn't even at this stage. It was closer than that. So they started to open. You can see this one's starting to open. There's leaves. There's the white for the blossoms, and you can see some blossoms are starting to open. And then you can see some of these little clusters. There's a leaf cluster, and then the flower clusters, blossom clusters. So it's pretty amazing, like I said, how quickly things happen. So starting to come in, the flowers, blossoms, and it's just happened so quick, and it won't be long before we have the little cherries on there. So anyway, that looks good. And our apple tree, I took a lot of it off when I pruned last week to help get it back under control. It was really out of control and really big, so it's a multi-year thing. Plus I didn't do much last year, so a lot of this side is kind of what I wanted to see, how you can easily see through it, air circulate, all that stuff, where the other side's still more bushy. But I took as much as I could this year, and we'll finish it up next year. But once again, with the buds progression is amazing, because it's been so warm this past part of the past week. So we have the little red bud sticking out here. You can see where the outer leaves. Eventually they'll open up and reveal, I believe, a different color. I believe they're white on the inside. It's pretty cool to see the different color stages. So you can see that they're starting to open. Just see the tips of the bud. Here's the more of the red, and then eventually it'll pop open and be white on the inside. So it's pretty cool how quickly this one's going. I don't know if you remember the peach tree from last week, but there was just the tiniest bit of pink showing. Now every blossom is open, and every blossom is fully open, not just a little. So it's cool. And then you can see the leaf shoots here. Those are going to be leaves, and those are going to be if everything goes well, those will be fruit, which is why, as you can see, peach trees need a lot of thinning, because there are hundreds and hundreds of flowers there, and if they make it, that would definitely be too much for the tree. So anyway, and pear tree, I took a lot of the top off it, because basically it was all water sprouts going straight up. So I took that off, and then I had to take off that stuff going towards the fence. It's been hard to cut that back, but basically we need to retrain the trees to not go to the fence. The problem is they're planted so close to the fence, and it just makes every stage of dealing with the tree difficult when it goes into the fence, like it did, where they were literally hanging over and going in. It's hard to cut it, it's hard to prune it, it's hard to pick it, it's hard to spray. If you have to do that, it's hard to do everything, to just see what's going on. So we'll have to, had to get it done. So eventually we'll get what we want. And these are also starting to pop off. You can see there's a lot more here, I think, than the other tree that are open. But a whole lot of the pear blossoms opening, and that's how they come in those little clusters. And that's kind of how it works. Is that one little bud, one swollen bud that looks something like that? That's a leaf bud. But we'll pop open and give those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 flowers, and potentially 8 fruit per one, which is why they recommend you go and you thin to 1 fruit per cluster once they do actually mature. That way you don't have overwhelming fruit production, and make it more balanced. So you can see all the ones here. This leaf bud's starting to separate right there and there and there. There's a nice tip where we've got the stuff going on, but all these leaves will be on this stuff here. And yeah, anyway, and our apricot tree is the only tree that didn't get pruned last week. I'm going to prune it today. And as you can see, this stage, the flowers don't look very pretty anymore. They're past their prime. But this is basically a lot of the, let's see if it's easier to see over here. A lot of the petals have fallen off, and it's just the stamen, so it looks actually kind of not attractive. But anyway, that's where it's at. We got some leaf buds starting to pop out now. After all those, flowers, there's another plant that every single one of those flowers potentially could set a fruit, which would, be way too much. And as you can tell with the long stuff, it would have been, on that one runner right there would have been 20, 30 fruit, which obviously would have made it very unstable. So, however, it's been very cold this past week, well, part of the week, so a lot of these flowers might not make it. So we'll see. So I would go and thin it later. Anyhow, basically I want to take today some of this height off. As you can see, it's too tall. And once again, going over the fence, literally rubbing against the fence in 2 spots, 3 spots, causing a problem for the fence, causing a problem for me to have to go out there, and fruit falling in the thing there. So, yeah. And actually, there's fruit over there. Is that what that is? Yeah, that's what. Let's check that out. I don't really know that could be fruit already, but let's see. It sure is. It sure is. The sun, I don't know how well you can see this, but right there is fruit. That little green part. Those are all fruit developing already. Obviously the stuff across the fence sets quicker. Oh, here we go. Yeah, right there. Those are little apricots. Will be, if they make it. Wow, that is amazing. Amazing. So yeah, every little one of those green things would be an apricot if it made it. I'm sure a lot of these won't because they were set so early with our cold weather, but we'll see. We will see, but that is crazy. There's already little fruits all over. If you look, yeah, now that it's all about training your eye to see it, but yeah, they're all over the place. Every one of those looks like the bees did a really good job because almost every one of those flowers has a fruit now starting to form. Whether it makes it will be a different story, but we'll see. Yeah, there they are. It's insane. Insane. So anyway, that is the apricot tree. Take a quick look at the raspberries. So their canes are up. They're starting to grow. And we put a little bunch of compost in here to help feed it and also to keep the weeds down. So we also thinned out the stuff from beside the house. That way it won't be up against the house. That was creating a problem. So now we'll be able to walk back there and then further train them into rows. So I'm going to experiment with a trellis system of some sort. That way we can keep them going up like this, not hanging over against the house, hanging over into the grass. So anyway, that's where we're at here, and here's the stuff on the south side, coming along pretty good. Today I'm going to actually remove these raspberries and relocate some of the planter boxes from the other side. They haven't been coming in very well here, and we're gonna take advantage of the southern sun to get some move some of the planter boxes. So anyway, it looks like here's some canes that I should prune. Here's the old dead cane, you can tell because there's no green on it, so that should come out. This is the cane from last year, which will actually produce fruit this year. And then these little guys, no, actually I don't know that I see any of this year's canes yet. They probably haven't come up, but these ones are I can't remember the term, but basically they fruit on last year's canes. That's how they work. So this is 2 years ago. This is dead and should be removed. It will never produce again. This grew last year and will produce fruit this year. So actually in the fall, what I could do is go and get rid of those ones. And then the ones that grow this year will not produce any fruit. They'll produce fruit next year. So that's kind of how it works. And that's what we have to do with maintenance and stuff. We did thin them out a bunch, but missed some. But this is real easy to see in the spring because you can see not just by the color, the white and the brown, but also because, hey, there's no green on that one. Let's cut it out. So anyhow, we did thin it out and pull that out, so it's going to be hopefully a lot easier to deal with this year. And anyway, that's it. So they're the fruit trees for this week, and we'll see you again next week, and we'll have thinned the apricot, and we'll see what happens in the upcoming week.